Alright, one of the advantages now of having factory support from Mazda is the flow of genuine Mazda parts. As you can see, this is a very rare part, not for Project RADBUL, but this is a 20B center plate which Mazda very kindly remanufactured for us. So this will be for Bad Bull 20B center plate. Pump. It's a super pump that Mazda has supplied us all these genuine parts for our fleet of Bulls. Now it's time to head down to Pulse Performance Race Engineering, where I'm going to show you guys what goes into building these screaming rotaries.
Forget about it, I know that nobody noticed, but I'm on it, keep going forward.
Okay, after a 7-hour drive, half of New Zealand's North Island, we arrived down here in Wanganui at Pulse Performance Race Engineering. These guys are world leaders when it comes to rotary engines, known for the 6-rotor world first that they built in the RX-4, all of the rotary engines that you see in all of our cars from our fleet. And the business end of Project RADBUL is really starting to take shape. You can see now with the twin turbo setup, the wastegates, all the manifolds, this thing is really starting to look insane. So let's see what these boys have been up to for the last 4 weeks.
So we've gone with a twin turbo Garrett setup, really so that we get the weight down and the response of the engine up. So with a big single turbo, it's firstly a lot heavier than 2 smaller units, but it takes a lot longer for the turbo to spool up because of the inertia of turning a big item. Whereas 2 smaller units, they spool up a lot faster. So when Mike's on and off the gas, we can really utilise the smaller turbos to get it back on power straight away as soon as he's back on the gas. It's quite a small engine bay for the amount of power that this beast is going to put out. So a matter of getting all the pipe work, fitting everything in, getting balance with the engine bay so that the weight of all the turbos and the heavier gear on this side of the engine is offset with a little offset of the engine over to the other side of the car. And you know, running 4 wastegates set up, the only logical place to put the dumps is out the bonnet, so that's worked out really quite well. So power-wise, at the flywheel, we'll be somewhere around 1200 horse, I would imagine. I mean, that's obviously very dependent on how much boost, which, you know, with the touch of the button on the boost controller, we can range from probably as low as maybe 900 all the way up to possibly 1500. So we're building the engine really strong to handle as much power as we want. So it's really going to come down to getting the balance right with grip in the car. So this is the crankshaft and rotor setup for this new engine of Mikey's. So the crankshaft's actually a 3-piece crankshaft. The front 2 lobes are incorporated in the main unit, and the front and centre lobes slide on and off like that. The reason that is so we can actually physically assemble the engine. These are the rotors that Mazda have supplied us. They're now fully modified, they're ready to go in this engine and make some serious horsepower.
Yeah, this is an inlet manifold that we've designed and built for Mike's new engine setup. It's obviously made of alloy to keep things lighter. Yeah, this is sort of in the finishing stages of where it's at. We're going to just mark out where we're going to put these secondary injectors on the top, and then we're going to have another row of primary injectors underneath, down a lot lower.
He was that ride or die.
Okay, so this is our bad boy setup for the rear. In our brake department, we're running a Woolwood setup. As you can see, it's a twin caliper. So one of these calipers is super aggressive and it only runs off my handbrake. So I have full feel of just on the hydraulic handbrake, and the other one runs in conjunction with the front, which we can adjust through a bias adjuster. With my background in motocross, I have a lot more percentage on my foot brake to the front wheels. That way I can tip the car and really make the car initiate into its drift. And then, yeah, the separate one on the handbrake, totally separate, so I have no feedback through the pedal. Up front, you can see we run a much bigger caliper. This is a 6-piston caliper, so it's a lot more aggressive through the foot. Also combined with this is the lightweight rotors. You know, with drifting, we're not so much worried about the temperatures because it's such a short burst of 3 or 4 corners on your typical drift section. But we want to keep that rotating mass down, especially with the rotary engine. I mean, we shouldn't really be lacking too much torque with this setup, but the less rotating mass we have, easier it is for the wheels to spin and slow down, and plus overall weight is very important as well to keep it low.
Since there is such a spider of arms coming all into the hub here, It was really only one place that the calipers could fit, and we had to get them onto the same bracket. We managed to get them to fit in here quite nicely so that they're up on the same side and all out of the way and free to move.
So this project really is a dream project, you know, like every single aspect of it is awesome. It's stuff that we love creating. Every single nut, every single bolt, every time you drill a hole, it's a step closer to getting finished and hitting the track. It really is a dream build, not only for Mike, who's going to get to drive it, but for us as mechanics and fabricators to build the best stuff that's available and piece it all together and get it to hit the track, man. It's exciting.
Okay, so as you guys have seen, the crew down here at Pulse Performance have done an amazing job of the 4-rotor twin turbo setup. The next time you see this thing, it's going to be in full fury on their dyno. But for now, I have a small little drift event to go and organise, Red Bull Drift Shifters.